everyone, it's Brittany with the Rustic Willow, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make your very own apple cider vinegar. It's super easy, anybody can do it. You can either use store-bought apples or you can just pick them from your backyard. You don't waste anything. You literally use every single part of the apple, including the core and the stem. So you're not throwing out anything, you're not wasting anything. You can pick what kind of jar you want to use. Today I'm going to use pint jars because this is just what I have in abundance. So rule of thumb is it's 1 cup of water to 1 tablespoon of sugar. Sugar, why you ask? Sugar acts as like an activator because apples naturally have lactobacillus and they also have acetobacter bacteria in them. So by adding sugar, you are increasing a more rapid growth with this bacteria, which is a good bacteria. It actually is a probiotic. It's really great for gastric emptying. It's really great for skin, hair. There's so many uses for it. It's just really great stuff. It's really great for gut health on top of baking. So I'm going to show you how to make your own because organic apple cider vinegar is at our stores roughly between $5 and $6. So if you grow your own apples and you have access to water in jars, you can basically make it for free. So first what we're going to do is we're going to cut up apples. Now because we do organic apples, we do sometimes have little creatures on the inside. So I do have to be careful with what I cut. Everything we don't use will go back outside to our composting pile. So you basically just want to make sure that you are dicing these up. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then what we'll do is once we get these diced up, we're going to fill our containers halfway full of apples. And then the best is to use filtered water, as in your fridge, unless you have a filter on your kitchen faucet. We do not, so my water is actually from our fridge as it's filtered. And then if you warm the water up, it helps dissolve the sugar, which helps activate all the good bacteria that's on your apples. And if you didn't know, the sugar ends up breaking down to an alcohol, which then ends up breaking down into acetic acid, aka your apple cider vinegar. Now, apple cider vinegar does need to sit on a shelf in a dark room for 2 weeks. It is best if at least for the first week, week and a half, you go and you stir up your apples. That way if you have any floaters, you're getting them mixed in. It's relatively easy to make, but for some reason, if you notice that you have anything fuzzy in your apple cider vinegar or anything that does not look like it should be there, like mold, then I would suggest making a new batch. Typically this isn't a problem. By stirring up your apples daily, this helps prevent having any of those issues. So like, yeah, these are the things we get. And we just cut around them so we can still use the apple. Once you get everything into your jar, apple cider vinegar, after it sits for about 2 weeks, you are gonna strain your apples off and separate it from the fluid. Then you're gonna add the fluid back into your jar and you're gonna let it sit and ferment for a couple more months. So basically apple cider vinegar is just a fermenting process. If you've ever fermented food, after a couple months of fermenting, you can always taste your apple cider vinegar. If it tastes vinegary enough for you, then it's good. typical shelf life for apple cider vinegar is 5 years, so you can make up a ton and it can just sit on the shelf forever. You can make it up in huge gallon sizes and then just pour off from that. I've actually thought about getting a big glass canister with a spigot on it, and then that way I can just pour off into jars as I need. I honestly like to use glass beer jars that I buy off of Amazon. They're really easy to use. You can toss them in the dishwasher. They have a nice good seal on them. They're compact size, easy to pour. So now that all of our apples are cut up, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start getting them in the jars. So with my pint jars, I am going to take the apples and I'm gonna fill them about halfway up. And then I find it easier to use a bigger Pyrex measuring cup and then using a smaller one. This one's exactly 1 cup. Sometimes if I have a little bit of a gap, I go back and I add a little bit more apples just so that I can give it nice and full. Then I'm going to take a cup of my organic cane sugar and I'm going to start mixing it because we want that dissolved. Oops, and I lost one. So now you are going to notice that you're going to start seeing some bubbles in this. When you do make it, that's fine. That's totally normal. So now what I'm going to do is I've pre-cut some of my extra fine cheesecloth and we're just going to lay it right over the top. And we're going to take our lid and we're just gonna screw it down. That's literally all you need to do. It's that easy. So then we'll come and we'll fill this one. We'll get our cheesecloth again. And this is great because it keeps fruit flies out. Which anytime you do canning with a lot of fruit, like we do, we unfortunately always have fruit flies during that time. They drive me nuts, which apple cider vinegar is also great for getting fruit flies. Cheesecloth, you definitely can use a paper towel. You could also use a thin piece of cotton. Basically, this allows air while it's fermenting, but it also keeps out the bugs. So basically, this is what you're going to end up with. You can notice that it's already starting to change colors. It'll continue to start changing colors the more it ferments. Eventually, you'll notice some cloudiness, which is totally normal, so don't get alarmed. But it's literally that easy. And then once you strain out after a couple weeks your apple pills, they can literally just go out to your composting pile. It's literally that easy. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks.